afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. You have Alyssa Quorum here, and I'm joined by Ed Carson. On today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the major indexes, some interesting action, as well as some interesting moves under the surface, Ed.
That's right. Zoom video flagged down yet another breakout. Microsoft is, looks like it might be forming a handle, and Chipotle keeps on moving the right side up the base. So a lot of good, nice action.
All right, and the major indexes, we saw the NASDAQ closing down about 0.5% for the day, but well off of morning lows. We opened down about 1.6% on the tech-heavy index. The Dow managed to almost close flat for the day, down less than 0.1%, and the S&P 500 down less than 0.2% for the day. So maybe a little bit of stimulus hopes and getting a little bit of relief from the selling from that perspective, Ed.
Yeah, I'm not quite exactly sure all the reasons why going back and forth. I mean, honestly, we had this big surge on Monday. It was really surprising how strong the gains were, and we've pulled back from there. But, we've been in this nice trend. This sort of looks like a handle. Well, we're going to look at Microsoft and a lot of other stocks that look a lot like the NASDAQ and the S&P and Dow. This is really a sort of a nice shakeout. It looks like this can be positive action. We'd run up so much that it was looking like, maybe we needed to take a break. And if we can do it in a fairly modest way, that's great. I think if we look on a weekly basis, it'd be even calmer. I think just in general, if you get freaked out by moves, this is something Arusha Perez has said on IBD Live a bunch of times. Hey, just take a look at the weekly chart. And we're still up for the week, and certainly on the NASDAQ, and I think on the S&P is up, and maybe the Dow, right around flat. And given where we've been in the last few weeks, that's just fine.
Yeah, that's right. I like that, making sure you take a step back, look at that other perspective, and handles, as we handle a cup with handles, we prefer over cups. So, hey, we'll take it. And Zoom video, you mentioned flagging a breakout here. We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly charts. But first, the daily up over 5% above average turnover today, Ed, hitting new high ground. So pausing a little bit after a big run up, providing yet another buying opportunity for investors.
Yeah, this is a high tight flag. It used to be rare. It just seems to happen all the time now. But that's when you have this sort of like when a stock will run up like 100% for a while in just a few weeks. And we did that over here. And then you form another short consolidation, sort of like running up the flagpole and then forming a little flag. Now, and so this is actionable, even though it's shorter than most consolidations, and the buy point was right over there. It was running up, and when the major indexes were basically at their lows, just really powerful. Obviously, this is basically the stock of the year. I mean, I don't think, because it's just been unrelenting. It's coronavirus related. It looks like it's going to be sticky for years to come. Tremendous growth. I mean, just jaw-dropping growth. So here we go again.
Yeah, that's right. One thing though, I mean, this is as extended as it's been from its longer term moving averages in quite a while, but I guess it's kind of what you get with a high tight flag.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what you gotta expect with if you run up that much in a short period and then you break out. But that's a higher risk. I mean, there's a real reward. Somebody think, how can it go up? But this is actually something Bill O'Neill found. It's like some of these stocks, they have tremendous runs after this, and sometimes he didn't get into them until this point.
Yeah, very good point. So we'll definitely continue to keep an eye on Zoom as we have essentially towards the beginning of the year, especially, I would say. And moving on to something else, a little bit of a different pace, and that would be Microsoft, one of our long-term leaders. And speaking of the NASDAQ forming a cup with handle, Microsoft looking like it is doing the same with earnings just about 12 days away from now, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, one of the downsides on this one, the relative strength line is been lagging. But to be honest, we've looked at a lot of big techs in the last few days, Amazon and Apple and Adobe, and they all look the same in the sense that they've came sort of down vertically, rounding up, and then have pulled back to some extent. And all of them, if they can form a handle over, a handle must be at least 5 days on a daily chart. It needs to be flat to downward sloping, and it needs to, you want to have. It's nice to have that shakeout. What you want to do, the whole goal is to shake out weak holders and provide that last resistance point. So when you break through, you really can feel confident that it's likely to go higher. And so that's why we like cup with handle so much more than cups.
Yeah, and so far so good for Microsoft. On the top of our radar. And last but not least, Chipotle, another name that we talk about a lot here, as well as on IBD Live, managed to close higher today by about 1.6%, a nice upside reversal. And this base here has been nice and tight, depth of only 15%, Ed, and some really good support at the 50-day along the way. And earnings here a week away, and that could provide the catalyst we need maybe to see another breakout here.
Yeah, and the issue is, of course, we saw with things like Fastly, warnings, and other things, earnings don't always go the right way. So that is something we have to keep in mind. We've been so focused on everything else lately, but got to remember it's earnings season. This one had a nice move off the 10-week line on Tuesday, sort of popping up, that did go off the 10-week line. That's a 50-day line. The 10-week line showed it a little bit more, but the daily ad had a little bit, sort of cleared over some short-term resistance as well. So that was actionable. And even now, I think it's only about 6% above the 10-week line. And so that is still actionable in that regard. Even here, if you wanted to like maybe start a position before the full breakout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to add that, as you mentioned, earnings, they don't always go in your favor. So, but if you are an aggressive investor, you can wait until the day before the earnings report, see how much of a cushion you have. Or this is forming a base. Maybe see what an option looks like. Or if we do see a positive reaction, you could potentially act then.
That's exactly right.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. It's been an Ed and Allie week. We hope you've enjoyed that. We, of course, love our other co-hosts as well. We'll get more people back in the mix soon, but we hope you've enjoyed it. And I think we'll both be on IBD Live tomorrow morning, right, Ed?
That's right. And we'll be back tomorrow afternoon. We're scheduled for that.
Okay, well, there you go. So you get more of us tomorrow morning, and tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be on IBD Live. Check out all the details at investors.com/IBD Live. It's been an interesting week, and we'll make sure to cap it off right with for everyone with some nice analysis. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.